Well, thank you for taking time to join us this evening as we check in and connect with our parents on this week prior to the start of school for the 2020-21 school year. We're so excited to welcome every one of our students to join us in a virtual launch to this school year, just a week away. The purpose of our time together today will be to check in on those preparations that you're making on the start of the school year, to make sure that our parents and our students know exactly what to expect this week. Also to look at our plans for fall and those expectations and guidelines as we get into teaching and learning throughout the fall. And then to make sure that you know where you can ask and get your questions answered in case you have any questions that come up before the beginning of the school year. I'm delighted today to be joined by a great team of principals and district leaders. And I'm going to ask them if they would to introduce themselves, beginning with Ms. Jazz Parks.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Swift. I'm Jazz Parks, Assistant Superintendent of School Leadership.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn Linden, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul DeAngelis, and I am the Executive Director for High School Education.
Hello, I'm Shay Carter, Principal at Clague Middle School.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Hilton. I'm the Principal at Mitchell Elementary School.
Hello, I'm Andrew Cluley. I'm the Director of Communications, and I'll be asking some questions as we go through this presentation.
I really appreciate all of you joining us today, and I just want you to know that our team has been busy since spring. It's been a very full summer preparing for this 2020 school launch. The excitement for back to learning continues. We've been delighted this week to see thousands of our parents coming to pick up your technology devices to ensure that you're ready for learning come Tuesday, September the 8th. Mr. Cluley, I know you've got some things to share with us, and let's jump in.
All right, well, let's start with what parents can expect to happen next week, the week of September 8th. What is that going to look like? And we'll start here at the elementary level. Mr. Hilton, what can families that are elementary age children, what can they expect next week?
Thank you, Andrew. I want all of our families in the Ann Arbor Public Schools to know that we are excited about this fall launch, and we are excited to see them this week in each of our buildings' Welcome Back Meet and Greet event. I want families to know that they should have received an email with a Zoom link from their school building so that they know how to access the meet and greet event this week that's occurring in each of our buildings. And I also want families to know and understand that they will use that same Zoom link that they used to join their meet and greet, to join their class on Tuesday, September 8th at 8:10 a.m. In addition to that, I would want our families to know that our school offices are busy prepping a mailing. And in that mailing will be things like clever badges and QR codes, and certainly a one-page how to use those clever badges and QR codes for families. That should arrive to our families at their homes via U.S. mail, most likely Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. If for some reason families do not receive that mailing, please reach out to the school buildings and their teachers, and we will take care of that and make sure that they have that information. And then the week of September 8th is really about a few things at the elementary level. It's about building community and establishing connections and creating a space for kids where everyone feels as though they belong and everyone feels as though they are significant because they are important in our classrooms and in our schools. So in addition to that community building that will happen next week, we will also be teaching children and families how to use those QR codes and clever badges that I mentioned to access Schoology. So by the end of that first week of school, we will have taught all the kids and families how to access our Schoology platform. And then on Monday, September 14, at 8:10 a.m., which is our very first full day of school, that is where kids and families will go to access the learning with their teachers.
And by then they should be all set and ready to go because they will have had that full week of the 8th to kind of ramp up to speed.
Absolutely. That is the goal, Andrew. That week of the 8th is like an on-ramp. By the end of it, we will have taught kids and families how to get into Schoology. So come that Monday, Andrew, they'll be ready.
Excellent. I'll turn it over to middle school now. Mr. Carter, can you talk about what the expectation is for that first week of school, September 8th week at the middle school level?
Thank you, Andrew. On September 4th, parents and students will receive a communication from their schools with a Zoom link to their home-based advisory classroom teacher, inviting them to their first class on Tuesday, September 8th. In that communication, we will revisit things that were discussed at the parent-student virtual orientation that have been held through multiple middle schools at this time. During that orientation, they learned a lot about start times, end times, bell schedules, term dates, Schoology, Power School attendance, and student learning platforms. The first week of school, during September 8th, the home-based advisory teachers will carefully guide students and families to engage in another full Schoology orientation throughout that week.
Sounds good. So similar to elementary school, that first week, a lot of it is just learning the processes, but I'm guessing with middle school students, the hope is that they'll be ramping on a little bit quicker maybe than elementary families.
That is the hope, but our teachers look forward to connecting with students and reviewing and revisiting throughout that week. So I just want to reassure you and reassure families that throughout that week, students will have multiple opportunities to engage in the Schoology platform. We will also have support available for students who lose their way and need to find their way back. That's something that we learned through the professional development process, that we need to have another space where students and families can go if they get lost along the way.
Excellent. I'll turn now to the high school level. And Mr. DeAngelis, can you talk about, is the high school going to be pretty similar to the middle school experience?
Just like the elementaries and the middles, we are very excited to greet students back next week. Our day begins on September 8th at 8:30 in the morning, a little later start than the high schools are used to. But teachers are ready to greet students at 8:30. The setup at high school will be a little different and unique to each building. And so over the course of this week, along with communication about the meet and greet event, which will really guide families and students through the process of signing into Schoology and connecting for that 8:30 first period on Tuesday, September 8th. There'll also be information about what the week will be like, the calendar for that week. And again, each school is doing something a little bit different with the 4 days next week. But the mornings will be filled with meeting teachers, class meetings, some advisory time. And all of that information is being sent to families through the regular communication that our lead administrators send each week. And it can also be found on the websites for each of the 5 high schools.
All right. Sounds like we've got a good idea of what that first next week of school is going to look like. I think another area that some families have had some concerns about is the length of time that their children are going to be in front of a computer screen. Can someone talk about what that's actually, the actual day themselves is going to look like in terms of how much time a child will be in front of a computer screen?
Sure, Andrew. Thank you for that question. Across all of the levels, preschool, elementary, middle school, and high school, our students will have a combination of time on the screen through each of their learning blocks. There will be some active and passive screen time in each learning block. There will be synchronous, which means live. They will be receiving that direct instruction from teachers and engaging with each other and their classmates. And then there will be some asynchronous time where students are off the screen doing some activities individually or in small groups. We will also have throughout a given learning block, both full group instruction opportunities on the screen, as well as small group opportunities. on the screen, but then there will be those individual learning opportunities that will take place off a screen. So at the elementary level, we've been intentional about building that schedule so that students are able to step away from screen time by about 1:18 each day, that we're in the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday learning blocks. And then Wednesdays for all students are asynchronous times, with the exception of advisory or those home-based activities that we're doing just to connect with students each day, a short period of time that may be synchronous on Wednesdays at secondary in particular. And so we will have opportunities built in for both asynchronous and synchronous engagement for students.
So that'll give some students time to recharge their batteries away from the laptop. Sounds like a really useful thing to have happen.
Absolutely.
Obviously, in the spring, there were many families that had some struggles, some challenges, and did not feel that they got as much out of the experience as they probably wanted to. Ms. Linden, can you talk about how teaching and learning is going to look different this fall and be a more robust and engaging experience for students?
Absolutely. I know this has been a concern for many families, considering what this fall is going to look like while we're in a virtual setting. And we want to share several important points. One is that this fall will look very different from our experience from March to June of last year. We've been working tirelessly to make sure that the experience that our students have this fall is engaging, that it is focused on human connection, that the relationships that carry students through difficult learning challenges are intact with their teachers, and that we focus on pedagogy and teaching strategies that are most effective in an online setting. So our goal is to make sure that every student, every day, is engaged in their learning. Over the course of the past several weeks and months, our teachers have been working together to learn about all kinds of online pedagogy and strategies. Some important changes were made to make sure that the process for learning in an online setting for our students is easiest. And so some important moves have to do with the look and the feel when students log into their course or their classroom every day. So over the course of the last several months, our teachers and our curriculum coordinators and our building leaders have been working to make sure that the experience for students is consistent. So as a middle schooler or a high schooler, when they log in and they go to their algebra class, or they go to their English language arts class, or their science courses, they're going to see the same lesson layout, the same course look and feel, so that they don't have to learn a different style and a different look for every classroom. Where they turn in their assignments will be in the same place. The way the folders look for their lessons will be in the same place. They will be color-coded to help students stay on track and stay organized. And in a similar fashion, our elementary courses look and feel the same way. For our students who are in our pre-K through grade 2 classrooms, the look and feel of their classrooms has a lot of visuals, a lot of photographs, a lot of really important ways that students developmentally find their way to their courses and to their work. So those pieces are important to us, that we make that ability to function inside Schoology easy for students. On the relationship side, the engagement that we've been working on with our teachers is to capitalize, like we said, on the relationships. And so there's lots of interaction time, lots of opportunity for course discussion, lots of inroads to the learning, so that students who have different abilities, different backgrounds, different experiences can all enter into that course curriculum in the place that makes sense for them. So you're going to see lots of choice, for example, in how students access the learning. You're going to see choices in how students turn in their work and how they show evidence for their learning. And you're going to see a much more engaging and live interaction between teachers and students this fall.
Excellent. And what about if a student can't be present for a particular day, whether they're sick or something comes up? What will be the process for them to make up or catch back up, so to speak, when they are back and able to be in the classroom?
So this is actually one of the silver linings of being in an online setting, because there's a way for us to capture those lessons and learnings in that Schoology course for every student. So if a student does miss a course, the materials, the access to those pieces that are important to the content they're learning will all be available in the same place each day. So it should be very easy for students to pick back up should they miss a session.
Now, of course, this summer, there's been a lot of challenges going on in the world, obviously COVID-19 related, but also all of the racial injustice that is, just coming into light and being seen more clearly. What is going to be done in the Ann Arbor Public Schools to try and help make sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our children?
Andrew, I really appreciate that question. We are deeply committed in the Ann Arbor Public Schools to stand strong against bias and racism in every form, rooted in the daily experience of every child is going to be that commitment to equity, to social justice, and to anti-racism. Our teachers are committed to this work, and it is absolutely the heartbeat of our organization that every child feel welcomed, feel supported, feel wrapped around with that support and that opportunity, and that is particularly true for Black and Brown students in our schools, in our classrooms, and across our community. Andrew, for us, it means really working on two parallel levels. One is ensuring that we're doing that work within ourselves as teachers and as leaders and as a school organization. The second is to ensure that when there are breaches in our walk matching our talk, that we are standing up, that we are investigating, and that we are addressing those issues as they arise. I'm just so proud to be a member of this Ann Arbor Public Schools community, and we are deeply committed to each and every child, and that absolutely includes seeing our classrooms as settings for social justice, change, and opportunity for every child on every day.
Another area that's, back to school time, you can't go into a store without seeing back to school supplies. And we know that this week we're distributing our technology, and there'll be other distributions across this fall as schedules are finalized in terms of coursework and that type of stuff. What other type of supplies should a family have on hand for this, first week of school? Obviously, probably don't need a backpack since we're not coming into school, but what type of things will families want to have on hand for this first week of school?
It's a great question, Andrew. We want to reassure families that for the week of September 8th and until we can do our school supplies distribution, everything that students need to participate in their learning will be available to them in that online setting, in the platforms, and via their video conferencing links with their teachers.
Back to school, it's always a challenge. The summer months when kids are, staying up a little bit later, the sun's out a little bit longer. What type of things should be done? And I'm not asking as a principal, but as a parent, what type of things should parents be thinking about doing to try and get their kids ready for next week, the first week of school?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is really important, that families remember that the structure and the routines are really important to maintain. So yes, go get the backpack. It's an important part of the school day process. So get the backpack if that's a part of your routine. Mm-hmm. Have, pencils and paper and notebooks that your children can personalize, that they have next to their workspace while they're on their virtual platform. Have those schedules and routines built into the structure of your day so that your children are prepared. Get back on bedtime cycles, get back on wake up cycles, get back on the regular eating cycle so that their brains are ready for learning. So all of those things are really important to stay on top of as we prepare children for the launch of the school year.
Obviously, while we're in this online time, kids important to catch the learning as it happens. if you have some technology issues, if a child can't get in to their classroom, if there are connectivity issues, if something arises, what's the solution? What should be done? A student and the parent do immediately to try and get themselves back in the classroom if they find themselves not being able to be in it.
Thank you, Andrew. The plan is for each building to have posted on their website the help desk information available to their families. So all families will need to do is click on the home page of their school, and they should see the help desk information that someone will respond to them right away. And as always, you can reach out to our OPs and our building leaders.
So that might be a good thing to check right now. Write that number down so you have it on hand, maybe put it next to the computer. So in case, if it's connectivity issues, you may not be able to look it up right away very easily as well. So that's just a helpful thought that can get you ready to go. So over the course of the spring and then into the summer, we've had a robust food distribution program. As we start back into the school year, Dr. Swift, can you talk about what that program is going to look like? Is it going to be the same, or are we seeing some changes?
Well, thank you, Andrew. As you know, we've been lobbying, advocating throughout the summer that our emergency status with the USDA be able to continue so that we could distribute food right in the drive-through and not have to have the point of sale complication. We were delighted to hear yesterday from the USDA that we have been approved to continue the emergency distribution of food. So what this means, Andrew, is that our drive-through locations across town will be able to continue that format and that distribution. We'll also do the late afternoon distribution so that our families can pick up those lunches on the way home from work or however their schedules might work. You know, we are above 500,000 meals distributed, and this is a part of our safety net for our children and for our families. And so we're thrilled to be able to continue to offer the breakfast and lunch distribution for students. We also want to encourage everyone to fill out that free and reduced lunch form so that we have all of those records on file. And for now, we'll be able to continue that drive-through easy distribution as we have been over previous months.
So the free and reduced lunch form will be very important once we're actually able to come back into school. So it's important to fill it out, but we're not at the point where we thought we were going to be a week or so ago, where we were going to have to make major changes to the food distribution system. That's great to hear.
Yes, that's right.
So Dr. Swift, how can people stay in touch with the district and with you and see the latest updates?
Well, we'll be providing real-time updates at A2 Schools Super on Twitter. And I know Andrew at A2 Schools on Twitter, and also you all do the Facebook updates in real time. We'll be in touch on a weekly basis with those email updates. So we just look forward to staying closely connected. We know that things may change as we move through this fall, and it's important to keep those lines of communication open. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us today for this superintendent's update. We'll be updating regularly throughout this back to virtual school learning fall. I just appreciate all of our team members being with us, and thank you for taking the time to join us. There is such excitement in the air for back to learning fall 2020. We're so excited that the magic that occurs between teachers and students in classrooms across the Ann Arbor Public Schools, we're just a week away, and that excitement will continue. Almost everything about our lives has been adjusted since mid-March when we closed our school buildings, and yet We have worked with our teachers and with the support of our parents and our students, and we are ready. We're ready to meet you in virtual classrooms. We're ready to have a school year of connection, of care, and of coming together as an Ann Arbor community to support each and every one of our children. Our children will learn, they will grow, we will innovate our way through this historic time. So we just want to thank everyone for your support, for your understanding, for your ongoing connection and communication with us. We will continue to update regularly as we move through this fall together. We look forward to seeing you again on one of these sessions soon, and thank you for taking the time to join us. We'll see you Tuesday, September the 8th, in our virtual classrooms. Thank you.